Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the single player Let's Play series. So, it's been a couple of days since I've even been on the world, but I did join earlier and there was a thunderstorm going on, and I walked right outside and right around here was one of the horseback skeleton guys, and it of course, multiplied, turned into four. Unfortunately, only two of the Skelly boys survived, but they're here. They're not particularly good horses for horse riding, but they're just cool, so I've just got them chilling out for now. But I figured we could name them, that way they won't go anywhere, and we could just kind of have some fun with them later down the line, maybe do a little barn or some sort of little something for all of our horses, just because, I do care about them, even though we don't need them, and even though I can outrun most horses, still thought it would be fun regardless. So yeah, let's go and get that done real quick. And then we'll get started with the real meat and potatoes of the episode at least. So let's see, what should we name our horses? Oh, we actually don't even have any levels to do that with anyway. Hang on. There we go. So let's go with, I don't know, let me think of some names. So I went to a generator because I'm always terrible about thinking of names. So Marigold came up and I liked that one. And then this one I really liked, Sunmane. So let's go with these two. I don't know. I always love picking the goofiest of names. I find them to be really entertaining. So yeah, here lately, if you didn't know, I have been streaming on Twitch. I don't know if you care. I don't know if you watch. And if you don't, that's fine. I'm not really even trying to promo or talk about it all that much. But if you're interested in all the Mod 7 To the Skies sort of playthrough, I've been doing that over on Twitch. And so that's part of why I haven't been AFK or even like passively or actively doing little things in this world like mining. It's just because I've been spending a lot of time with my friends over there on that server. And it's also a public server, so if you've ever wanted to hop onto one, feel free. Go ahead. We'd love to see you there. Anyways, today's premise for the Let's Play, at least, is to get all of these drawers and moving them into our main base over there so that we can actually access the things from here, because my goal was to be able to access them using trains at some point, but as you know from last episode, that's unlikely to happen. So as you can see, I am just full-on yoinking these, and what we're going to do is we're going to hook them up over here, and then we can do a full reconnect slash disconnect using ender chests or dimensional chests, and using a couple of other mechanisms that we can go through. So what I'm going to do is place these down so that I can get a good count of how many 2x1s we're going to need. Looks like we only need 3. So let's grab some oak, 2x or 1x2. Yeah, same difference. Oak planks, we'll do that. And so that should get us exactly what we need. Perfect. So we can do that, and then we can start to transfer everything over. Unfortunately, I won't be able to transfer over the upgrades on these until they are completely emptied out. And so that won't be too big of a deal, but we do need to figure out how we're going to handle that for the most part. There are... it's kind of tricky. I didn't want to get into any like particularly sticky situations here, but I may have caused one anyway. But I'm going to take this drawer out here. In fact, I'm going to enable my magnet just to make stuff like that a little bit more convenient. And what we're going to do is we're going to take everything in here, every last bit, and I'm going to spawn a bunch of mess on the floor. I don't care. I just want everything out of here because we have 6,000 carrots that we got to put away somehow, and I don't want to make more upgrades than I need, so I guess I'm just going to make a mess, and that's that. Not really that big of a deal, I guess, but fun stuff nonetheless. So I'm going to sit here and transfer everything over, and if anything eventful happens, I will let you know. Alright, so we've got everything moved on over. We can now access everything, and, I know right now we're going to run into voiding issues. We've already seen that in the past. Honestly, I'm not too super duper stressed about that. There are a couple of these that are getting close. Like, I know the wheat is pretty much completely filled. So we may upgrade that storage up to the next tier, which is super easy to do. If we take a look at the next tier upgrade here, we can just do that. And that will fix our issues for the most part here. So we could do something like this. And now we can store even more. I'm hopeful that by the time we run into any of those kinds of issues again, that we can just kind of, you know, play it off and do something similar for these other ones. Or we will have moved to refined storage, which I don't think has the same issue here that I'm seeing with pretty pipes as far as like the maximum storage counts. Let's see, you're going to have 32 because you're 8 times 2. No, 8 times 2 is 16. So you're going to have 16,000 storage. So that's good. 16,000 storage is fine. 16,000 storage is fine. Right? It is 16, yeah? 8 times the base. Yeah, so 16, 16, 16, 16. Yep, okay. So yeah, those should be okay. It's, yeah. In general, oh, actually, no, yeah, you're not okay. You're already full as well. Let's go ahead and fix that one, and then we should be good to go. So, my goal here today is at least to go ahead and get everything arranged so that we're automatically inputting things here. So let's go ahead and get 2 more machine frames from Thermal, and that way we can get ourselves 2 more of the, oh, we already have the tin. Good. Okay, machine frame. We can get 2 more of the dimensional chests. Hopefully we have enough of everything. There we go. 2 of those, and then we can just upgrade here. And if we set these both to private and private, and so then if I put in like a stick, automatically sorted. Good. So that's that. If we grab some chutes, there are chutes from immersive engineering. These are going to be super helpful for this, and then we're going to grab some conveyor belts. And we'll maybe make another batch of belts here. Let's go ahead and grab some iron as well. Do this. And now we should be good. Cool. So, if we wanted to make this really, really, really efficient, we could just run both lines into the singular, into a singular dimensional chest, but I don't really have a preference, so I'm just going to keep this easy. And so what we can do is we can just put our dimensional chest right here. So we probably didn't need those dropping conveyor belts, but hey, better safe than sorry. So if I toss a piece of dirt here, goes in, disappears. Now, how are things going to come out of here and go into there, you may be wondering? Well, chutes actually count as a location where items can go to. So if we take a look here, you've got 67 sugarcane. And now if we look again from the inside, well, you would prove me wrong. Yeah, that tracks. Of course you would prove me wrong. Okay. So I thought that worked. We could also technically do something like that, where the items fall directly onto the belts. It's a little janky. Not a big fan of that. I really thought that this worked. I'm a little confused why that isn't working, actually. I thought that chutes could be an output location. Interesting. Okay, well, I may have to fiddle with this then. We may need to clean this up a little bit. Okay, so I have a much easier workaround using pipes. We just need to grab 2 retrieval modules, and we can probably just share the one-dimensional chest for this. Let's grab a retrieval module. I'll go ahead and go for this tier. Hey, we actually had everything we needed for it. That was lucky. And then we'll go all the way up to the highest tier. And we can just kind of cover everything up. That way it at least still looks good. Not my favorite choice in the world, but I mean, it's going to work just fine. So what we'll do That was a little bit unnecessary. Come on. There we go. So we have hempcrete there. Okay, gotta put that back. Gotta put that back. Thank you, thank you. But if I wanted to put the dimensional chest right here, that would work, right? And then we could just do the same thing on both sides. And we could do one retrieval module if I put it down a block. And so that would mean... Perfect. Okay, so that would mean right here we could do the same thing. So I will go ahead and set that up as well. So what I did was this setup. This is obviously not the most efficient, but I just like having it be, like, complete whenever I can. So we could do the same thing. I think that's the same. Yep, 3 down. 3 down, and then we can just drop that down there and there. And if I put the retrieval module here, we should start seeing stuff just get sucked in already. I would think. Why are you not sucking items in? What did I miss? Oh, right. The retrieval module has to be configured for every single thing. Okay. Well, I guess we're just going to need a bunch of extraction modules. Okay. Alright, so hopefully this should work. There we go. We should start seeing stuff flowing out. And if we do the same over here, we now have items going out and about. And if we pull out our dimensional tablet, we can watch them come in and then get pulled right back out again. Outstanding. Okay, cool. So now we can go through and decorate everything here, make everything look good again. So let's switch these out here. Go ahead and do coverings like so. And now it kind of begs the question, what's the best choice for this piece here? I thought you were a B, and I was about to ask how you managed to get out, but you're not a B. So yeah, now I'm not sure. I know that the connected texture support is pretty limited because of just the strange nature that is connected texture. So if I grabbed like white glass, I feel like with pretty high confidence that this won't even allow me to do it. And if it does, that it won't work correctly or that it'll show the full texture index. We'll see. Okay, well, it works about as well as I would have expected. I do like the fact that I can see through or see into them though. So we might do like normal glass there so that we can see it, or maybe we do like the greenhouse, not the greenhouse glass. What's the this stuff, the insulating glass could be cool to use as well, just to kind of see what's meant to be seen here, like what we expected to see. So yeah, I definitely think that could be pretty cool to see as well. For now though, I don't know. Oh, you can actually see through the other ones. Interesting. Is that a weird thing because of just the state of these guys? What's going on? Let's try vanilla stained glass. Oh, okay. So it looks like glass is just going to have that issue. What if I do clinker brick? That doesn't look horrible. I guess we could do that. Or we could just do treated wood, because that's what we were using before as well. Anyways, I'll fiddle with that a little bit and see what looks best. Let's do treated. And let's do spruce. And we will see which one looks best. So you know what, I've been thinking about it, and I think it is finally time that we start taking a look at leaving pretty pipes behind for a bit. Our setup here is great, but we are quickly running out of the space that we need And I keep thinking about this setup and how it's eventually going to become problematic. And I know that this is a super dumb fear, but I am legitimately concerned about that. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to take... I think what we can do is go take over our existing coke oven and then put up a new one to quickly get 16 coal coke smelted up. Because I want to make a induction smelter from thermal. And as you can see, this guy is going to require the graphite electrodes again. So we're going to need, in total, we're going to need 12 hop graphite, which means we're going to need, let's see, 12 hop graphite dust, which means that we need, what, 96 coke dust? And I do not have 96 coal coke. So we're going to need to get some more. And it looks like we're going to need to get about, what, 72? 70, no, 74? Something like that. I'll do the math, but still. So I think we're going to quickly get that set up. Ooh, we have a wandering trader with no llamas. Okay. What a strange guy. Selling sunstone, though. That's cool. And, oh, there is one thing that I wanted to mention, and that is the fact that we could, in theory now, get into unobtainium, and we might do that just for the fun of it. There are a couple of cool things that you can do. You know, I said I was going to calculate all the coal coke we were going to need, and then I proceeded to completely forget to grab enough coal to do this. So let's grab coal. Let's grab 16, and then we'll do 20 each. I think that should be fair. So we have a pretty good backlog on our line here, so I'm not really too concerned about putting up another temporary one. Let's go ahead and turn the magnet off. And then we can set this up. But yeah, unobtainium is a pretty fun resource from Architect's Delight, or Architect's Palette, sorry, wrong mod, same mod, different mod. Let's go and just do this. I think that would be perfectly fair. And we can just toss these back in here. I mean, technically, I guess we can't, right? But still, we can at least sort of do that. Come on. There we go. And so, yeah, this little pipeline here will eventually empty out, but that's totally fine. Oh, you are going to try to steal my coal, though. Well, that's a problem. Okay, well, I guess we just have to wait for a bunch of coal coke to get processed up. There is one quicker way that we could do this, I guess, and that would be to make a pyrolyzer. Pyro... Is it LY? Yeah. We could do this. I guess that wouldn't be a bad idea, is to go ahead and get one of those as well. I suppose that means all of that was moot, but whatever. So y'all are gonna go back to normal? Yep, okay, good. So yeah, let's make a pyrolyzer really quickly. These are not too terribly badly, or too terribly bad for cost at least. So let's see, we're gonna need 6 coke brick. We're gonna need the sheet metal. We're gonna need, let's see, so it's like this. We're gonna need another machine frame from thermal. Where are you? There you are. We'll do this. We're going to need steel scaffolding. Let's grab these, and let's go ahead and get some more crafted. Yes, we're gonna need some steel rods. Just get a bunch of steel. So we got that, and then we're going to need engineering blocks. So we're going to need 1 light and 1 redstone engineering block. Do that. There we go. And there we go. Great. So yeah, the pyrolyzer, the way I can describe it is it's basically like a electrified variant of the coke oven. So it's a little bit faster because, you can upgrade it, you can augment it, which we will probably do just to make it worthwhile. It is, hang on. Yep, okay. So this will get us the Pyrolyzer. This is also a quest, so that's good. I'm not trying to get through all the quests in a particular hurry. I'm also, like I mentioned last time, not trying to get into thermal particularly early or late. I do feel like we've been doing plenty of stuff, though, so this doesn't feel super duper early to me. But I wanted to get into refined storage today, if only for a little bit, because we've been doing a lot of pretty pipes, and there's nothing at all wrong with it. I just would like to try something different. So let's go ahead and get some, do we have Invar? We have one piece. Let's grab that. We're gonna need gold. I wanna go ahead and upgrade this pyrolyzer to make it a little faster. So we'll need gold. We're gonna need iron, and we're gonna need our nickel. Like so. We only need one piece. I did not mean to get two. We're going to need redstone, and we're going to need glass. I do still wish there was a clear button for that, but that's okay. We're almost out of the woods, I think, as far as the Pretty Pipes terminal goes. So we can go and put you down. I did tell this guy here to start recycling some of our diamond tools that I had picked up from the end, so that's fun stuff. That clearly went pretty well, because now we have a bunch of diamonds and some sawdust. I forgot to grab some NV wiring, so let me do that as well. Let's do one of you and one of you. And then we can go and get this going. Okay, so this is the hardened integral component. The integral components are very cool. So these are how we will upgrade our machines in thermal. So normally you could do speed upgrades and stuff, and those still exist. There's a version of those. They don't go by the name speed upgrade, but there is sort of like a speed upgrade for these machines. However, there is also the augmentation system through integral components. So there are 3 tiers. This is the primary tier. So the hardened integral component will scale the machine up to 2 times speed and 2 times energy storage, as well as 2 times energy consumption. And you can see that goes from 2 to 3 to 4. So we're just going to do simple 2. Go ahead and hook you up there. And then we'll just toss in some of our coal, and you'll see that in the pyrolyzer, first of all, way faster, but inside of the pyrolyzer, we're going to get tar, we're going to get coke, and we're going to get creosote oil. The only downside is this creosote oil is different from the other creosote oil that we've been getting. They work exactly the same, they just don't combine, they don't consolidate the same. So I'll probably just use a flue trash can to get rid of that, because as you know, we have tons of creosote. So we'll probably just do one of these, and knock that out. Let me sleep off this rain as well, because it is once again raining. So yeah, with this system, it'll be a lot easier and a lot quicker to go ahead and get more of the coke dust that we're going to need. So we'll go ahead and tell you to output your fluids out of the right. And because that's just a fluid input, it's only going to accept fluids, which is perfect. You can see we've already produced 5 coal coke, which is, again, blazing fast, super helpful. Let me grab the rest of our coal coke. It's just called coke, but you know what I mean. And let's start getting our hop graphite made up. All right, so we got the graphite electrodes that I was needing. So I think we're good there. What I'll go ahead and do is get everything else that we need ready and just kind of start getting everything together. At this point, you guys have seen the engineering block process once. It's pretty much going to be the same thing from now on. So, I don't really know how much more entertainment I could really offer with the same recipe sets and everything here on the auto crafting side of things, or at least not the auto crafting, the mega crafting. So let me go ahead and get the iron sheet metal that we're going to need, and I will go ahead and get everything crafted up and ready, and I'll meet you guys over at the mega crafting setup. Worth noting, actually, this recipe is a little different. It does use 1 heavy engineering block, and we're going to need the alloy brick. What is it? Kiln brick? We're going to need some of these as well. Fortunately, that's not too terrible. Let's just grab some sand. We'll need, what, 8? Whoops. And then we should have everything. There we go. That wasn't super, super bad. The kiln is not very, very helpful for us. That's why we haven't ever made one. If we take a look at the kiln, there's not really a good way to see like the recipes with it. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick. Let's see right here. You can see that there's not really a lot that you do with the alloy kiln. So you can only make Constantan or brass. I'm sorry, or bronze, not brass. Bronze or let's see, insulating glass. So these are all things that are pretty lightweight materials, pretty easy to craft with. So that's part of why you don't see a lot of that, is just because it's mostly meant for some of the lesser alloys, so it's not something we ever really found ourselves using. But we'll go ahead and put down all the electrodes here. We'll put these two there and those there, and that should get us an induction smelter. So the induction smelter, you can think of it as like a miniaturized version of the arc furnace, somewhat, but it's kind of a little more and a little less than that. The size and the capacity of the arc furnace make the arc furnace sort of irreplaceable for a lot of things. At least as far as I remember. But this guy here can also do, like, for example, brass, I think, can still only be made in the arc furnace. Yeah, so brass can only be made in the arc furnace because of the liquid component of it. It sort of just needs to be molten and doesn't really work much of any other way. But the induction smelter here, and I think what we may do is break these up a little bit. I don't think we're going to need the pyrolyzer for that much longer, or at all. So I may just do pulverizer and induction smelter and just leave the pyrolyzer out of the equation for now. There we go. So the induction smelter here, that's going to be a sort of an advanced smelter, but it does more of like a refined smelting recipe set. So it's a little different. I think I just heard a bug get deleted from the world. The high voltage wiring through here is definitely something very fun to deal with. And by fun, I mean, of course, deadly and dangerous. But to get into refined storage here, and by the way, we have a bunch of quests to pick up on. So here we have the inductive smelting. We've got all of the dimensional storage stuff that we can start picking up on now. So we can do we have an extra dimensional chest, so we can grab that. And then we never did get into the tanks, but that's okay. The pyrolyzer gets us more experience, and then flux networks we'll get into. But right now, my goal is to go into the refined storage mod. So, let's see. So to do that, we're going to need a couple of things that are only going to be able to be made in either the induction smelter when it comes to silicon, or to do quartz-enriched iron, we're going to have the induction smelter. This is, however, going to require a ton of quartz. So let's go and get a bunch of this grabbed really quickly. I wonder if quartz dust... Oh, quartz dust has to be made in the pulverizer. Okay, that's important to know. So let's go ahead and grab... I don't know, let's do like 8 stacks. I don't think we need quite that much. And if we grabbed a bunch of iron, we have tons of it anyway. In fact, let's do 2 stacks of blocks of iron. We should be able to get a good handful of quartz and of the quartz-enriched iron that I was talking about. And so quartz dust, again, remember, we can do a combination of 2 different things with the quartz dust. We can do... Right, I wanted... that's okay, we'll just use crates since I have them on me. We'll want you to insert and then extract on the right side. And then I want you... Let's take these guys. So you're going to start. Let's move this augment into here. And while you do that, quartz dust can be used for silica steel, or it can be used for, as you can see, it takes 2 to 1 for silicon. And then it's 3 and 1 for quartz-enriched iron. Yeah, okay, so we did 8 stacks. Let's do maybe... three stacks of iron worth. Well, no, hang on, that doesn't... Yeah, no, that adds up. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll do input, output, like so. And so now you're going to run and start making me quartz-enriched iron. And we should be able to get our controller before no time. So there are a couple of things that are still going to complicate getting the controller, so it's not going to be like the easiest thing in the world to do. And you know, the process of turning our items digital is never really intended to be easy, so it sort of makes sense. I don't really know where the jerry can should live. That redstone acid will, however, come in handy at some point. In fact, while that processes, why don't we do that? So there are some mods that we can use as alternatives for traversing or for transporting power. I like wires for long-range power transport, but I do find them to be a little bit annoying when it comes to small, like, within my own house power. And so we can replace that with a mod called pipes. And so the energy pipe here will do exactly what you would think. And we can get a handful of these if we really wanted to, I think. Maybe not, that's okay. But 24 energy pipes is still plenty. And you can see these are beautiful little pipes. They're very simple, but they work perfectly. They're pretty much flawless. But if we wanted to convert a pipe from a wire, we need some sort of a buffer. We need some sort of a gap, right? So let's go ahead and get ourselves an accumulator. Let's do like a MB accumulator, for example. And so we're going to need a bucket of redstone acid. And as you can see, I already have a jerry can full of this stuff. So redstone acid is made simply by taking the etching acid from Pneumaticraft, which remember was made, let's see, like so, and combining it with a piece of redstone in the thermopneumatic processing plant at over 100 degrees Celsius, and that'll get you redstone acid. You can see I did that 8 times just because why not? Let's go ahead and do this and see what we can grab. Looks like we have everything except for the nickel plate. Let's grab maybe 2 of these. And then we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, how are we doing over here? We've got 48 quartz enriched iron already. That's a very good sign. I'll stand here just to pick up my plates a little more quickly. And so now, I'm hoping this will accept a fluid container. Yep, looks like it will. The MV accumulator can do our job for us here. Now, what we can do, you see we've got the, if you'll remember our old setup, right, we had just a small wire going from here to our pipe pressurizer. We can now replace this. So if I break you and put an accumulator down, an accumulator is going to act as an energy buffer. So if we put the facing side, if we look at our hammer, facing side is an input, right? You see the blue? Opposite side here is an input as well. We want that to be an output, so orange. Now if we put our input there, it's going to start accumulating power. It looks like it can store 1 million FE. And if I go ahead and disconnect you, I can now hook up one energy pipe directly from point A to point B. Now, this is the only issue, the only thing that you need to know. Actually, 2 things. 1, this is not extracting. This has no way of knowing if it's extracting or not until you take out your wrench. And you can use pretty much any wrench from any mod. I believe most of them will work. But I know for sure creates will, and I know thermals will. And you can see you can even disable the connection. But if I shift right-click at the point of connection, you'll see it's going to start transferring again. Kind of hard to tell because the pipe pressurizer is completely full. And you can see if I look at the connection, it'll say transferring 256 FE every tick. So do keep that in mind. If you need more FE throughput or flux energy throughput, that's totally an option, totally possible to do. It just requires some additional FE on your end as well. So do keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and remove this for a little bit because I just want to get some plain silicon. I may go ahead and see if I can get some upgrades as well. So the upgrade system for thermal allows us to do upgrades 2 ways. But there is the thermal upgrade, no, what's it called? This guy, the flux linkage amplifier. So that's an electron plate and some of these guys. So maybe not, maybe not. That is kind of a pain. But we can go ahead and get some Invar again. So let's go ahead and grab some nickel. And some iron. And we'll need another gold gear. Some glass. And some redstone. How are we doing over here? 6 silicon. Nice. Okay. So let's go ahead and alloy you. We can start doing these alloys in our induction smelter over there if we really wanted to. I personally really like having a simple setup like this. I think it's just kind of more fun to keep the arc furnace around. So you can see, like I said, alloy smelter can do it, but I just think this is more entertaining. So I do it this way most of the time. And now we should be able to do, let's see, gold gear. We'll be able to replace these machines as well if we really wanted to, which may and probably will in fact happen at some point. Because I'm all about replacing my old machines with new variants just to try out something different. And you know, we could actually go ahead and start doing the same thing with the accumulator if we wanted to. Let's maybe make another one. And have one for the warehouse area. Just because, you know, why not? And also because we can clean stuff up a good bit. So maybe we put the accumulator right here. And then we can disconnect these two from power from up above. And then tell you, switch you over to automatic mode. Tell you to output on the opposite side. Run a line straight to you. Right, from you to you, I guess, would work. A little janky, but not too bad. And now we can run energy straight over. So that's the bottom of our pulverizer. That's the bottom of our induction smelter. We'll just do this. Run pipes like so. Again, just use whatever wrench seems to work. Create and thermal both work. And now we are receiving power again. Good as new. So yeah, like I said, the accumulator here is just going to act like an input buffer, so that's going to be super duper helpful. And then we can use wiring, or pipes rather, to just clean up a bunch of our mess, because it's way easier that way. At least from what I've discerned so far, at least it's significantly easier. Let's go and put some of this excess away, and let's start crafting up some of the components we're going to need for a refined storage system. So we are going to need a lot of things from refined storage to get something that kind of works, right? So refined storage is the mod as a whole that does everything with digital storage. And by digital storage, I mean this terminal here, it's showing us where and how we can easily request these mechanical belts. But if I come down here and look in these individual barrels, I will eventually find the exact same mechanical belts that I'm finding up here in my terminal. But what we can do with refined storage is turn all of our physical items here into bits on a disk, which is funny because they're already bits on my computer's drive. So, you know, don't think about that too hard. Might get a headache. I know I do. So the refined storage mod does offer a bunch of different things that we can do within it. But first things first, we're going to need a grid. The grid is equivalent to the terminal. So it has a standard and then it has a crafting variant, just like this does have a standard and a crafting terminal variant. So I'm going to go with the crafting variant. That's just always my go-to. We're going to need a handful of cables. We're going to need 2 external storages because, as mentioned, everything gets stored in a drive, right? So everything gets stored in disks, and these are some of your disks here. So you've got fluid disks, you've got item disks here, these storage disks. And if you want to store something outside of a disk, you have to use an external storage to do your interfacing to that external inventory that is external to your, you know, native bits on your system. However, I do also want a disk drive to store everything else, because my goal is to take everything out of these barrels and just have storage drawers down here, and then everything else will just be digital. So we're going to grab a couple of those, but the barrels will need to be connected up with the external storage. And so I think this is pretty much the suite of things that I'm going to need as a very bare minimum. Now, we're going to need a handful of advanced processors. So you can see we're going to need a processor binding. Processor binding is just slime, which I have quite a bit of at this point, and string. Let's grab maybe like a stack and a half or so. That should work. I think that should be plenty. And then we can start crafting up some processors. So I'm going to craft up, shoot, I don't know. Let's do 8 of these. And then if I grabbed, we can replace the diamond with other tiers. So we can do iron. We could do like maybe 10 of those, and gold, probably like 10 of those as well. And so you can see that makes basic and improved. So we have those 3 tiers, and we can go cook all of them up on our little griddles over here. I'll check in on this, maybe grab a couple more of the iron ones and some of the gold ones, because those get used a ton. Honestly, they get used probably too much, but whatever. And then we'll grab iron. And we'll go and get those cooked up as well. And so now we can go ahead and start crafting. So the main controller here is going to require machine casing. So we are going to need some stone. So let me go ahead and grab these just because I think we might need them. All right, so we can do this. We'll need a machine casing. Like so. Then we will need basically stuff we already have. So that'll be that and that, and that's going to get us the controller. You can see the controller is going to use FE, and if we put it down, you'll see it looks dead because it has no energy. So we will have to give it energy, but I'm not going to do any of that setup until we have the bare minimum of what I'm looking to get here. Now, what were we missing of? It was LV wire. Is there a way to get... Yes, okay. Looks like we can uninsulate with the wire clippers. Because I'm going to want more of those for sure. Will you give me back some of the excess? No. Okay, well, that's okay. We're growing infinite hemp anyway, so whatevs. Not a huge deal to me. And we should be able to just do this at this point. There we go. That's tons of energy pipe. We'll be good from now on. So we'll do that. And then we should be able to... whoops, an intruder. We should be able to get ourselves a grid, which is like the basic tier. And then we'll move up from there. So we'll need another one of these guys. We'll need these construction and destruction cores. So those are... construction is going to be with glowstone, and then destruction is going to be with quartz. So we can do that. And that's going to get us a very basic grid. And again, this grid is just going to show us items, but I'm not going to be able to craft with them yet. So we're going to need to upgrade to the crafting grid, which looks like this. And we'll just do that like that, and then we'll get the crafting grid. That one is my general preferred choice, at least overall. We're going to need cables to interconnect, so let's go ahead and grab 3 of these, I guess, would probably be enough. Because we're going to need some of them as crafting ingredients as well. So let's go ahead and grab like 8 and put those in there as a crafting material. We're going to need external storages, so you'll see more of these and more of these. And then we can get 2 of these. Beautiful. We'll get a disk drive. We only need 1 disk drive here. And this is where we're going to put all of our drives. We can get as many as we want. I did not mean to do that second set. My bad. We can get as many of these as we want, but realistically, I'm only going to need the 1 for the first little bit. And then you'll see that this is a 4K storage disk. So there are a few different kinds of storage disks. Let's look at... let's see. K storage disk should show me... Oh, I guess not. Okay, well, that's annoying, but whatever. So there is the 1K storage disk, which stores 1,000 items, and then 4K is 4,000 items, 16K is 16,000 items. That means that if you have a stack of buckets, that's 16 items. So that means that I could hold 1,000 stacks of buckets to have 16,000 items. So if that makes sense with the example of 16 buckets, then think of that for a variety of different items. Let's say we have a sword in there. Well, that's one item, not one stack of items. That doesn't count for 64 like some other mods like Applied Energistics used to. That just stands for literally one item. So it does not care if the stack is full, how many are in a stack. It does not act at all like a chest. Just think of it like a normal number. So 16K up to 64, and then there's another mod that adds even more of them. So it goes to 256, 1024, 4096, and 16384. I think that's a little bit excessive, so for now I might just make 2 or 3 of these 4K tier. So 4K is made out of 3 1Ks, so you get a free K out of that, and then 16K is made out of 3 4Ks, which you get a free 4K out of that, and then 64K is made out of 3 16Ks, so you get a free 16K out of that, and so on and so on. So the bigger tiers are worth doing, not only because you get disk consolidation, but also because you get free storage out of every exchange that you do. So the storage parts are made separately, and then you can consolidate them into a storage housing or vice versa. So I'm just going to make the storage parts for now. You can see we're going to need a lot more silicon though. So let me go grab that, see what else needs to be done cooking, and sleep off the night. Okay, so I think I should be able to make 1 4K at the very least, so we could start off there. So we should have, 9 sets of ingredients, perfect. And then for the next set here, 3 sets of ingredients. And we can actually go and jump straight into a 16. I mean, we may as well. I think we discussed how that would be worth it anyway. So 16K storage part, and then we can enclose that 2 different ways. I'm just going to do it this way, but if I did this, it gets us an empty housing that we can combine shapelessly later. So completely up to you and how you decide to do it. But those are, of course, your options. Okay, so now I think we are finally at a point where with 16K item storage and everything else set up, we can finally start to tear this down. This is going to be a pretty long video, so I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this episode here where we've got everything ready. And in between episodes, probably nothing's going to happen. I might just jump straight into the next episode. But yeah, this has already taken quite a while to record and get everything done, and I already know, I can feel it in my bones that this is already going to be like a 53-minute long episode or so. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with all the refined storage prep going on and all of the automation of our various crops and resources over here. I do think things are going pretty well from what I can tell. This bee constantly wants to escape. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.